Hufflepuff energy going on, right? Hello everyone, my name is Lauren. Welcome back to Barda Switch Bricks, and today we're going to be talking about the Hogwarts Mosaic crest that you can make out of 4 of these bad boys. Now, before we talk about the crest, I get to do what everyone else has gotten to do on the internet ever since these got revealed. And I'm going to rant about them. Because what is this? I hate it. I hate it even more in person. Look at this. Who asked for this? I don't like the fact that the house crests are asymmetrical. And covered up. Who is she? Who is she? It looks more Games of Thrones than it does Harry Potter. Like, slap this name on it. No. Not at all. Thanks, I hate it. I mean, the other half is fine. I agree that the addition of the Horcruxes is probably one of the best design choices they made. Before you come for me in the comments, I get it. I get why they did this. It makes sense to me because they fit all of the crests into one when they really should have dedicated like one of these per 2 houses. Make one Gryffindor and Slytherin and make another Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. But I know that was Lego's decision, and that's fine, and it makes sense, kind of, in my mind. But does it overall do an injustice to these crests? Yes, a complete disservice to Harry Potter and the crests. Really, in my opinion, Slytherin's the best one, just because, I mean, look at it. This is Slytherin colors. The snake looks great. The locket looks great. Overall, a very gray Slytherin feeling. That's the vibe. And it's probably the best one. Second up is the Ravenclaw one. I know it's supposed to be an eagle, but we won't talk about that, right? And it's not bad, once again. Ravenclaw colors are blue, gray, black, brown. But it looks good. And then probably third runner-up. Second runner-up, third place. Hufflepuff. It's not bad. Texture, the gold, the cup, no. Worst is Gryffindor. You can't change my mind. Don't care. I hate this. I hate it so much. Rant over. No, not going to build this. Who is she? Don't know and don't care. I was really almost thankful that I hated the Hogwarts crest so much just because I'm like, cool. $120 saved. Don't Flitwick care. Don't have to spend my money on it. Can spend it on something else. Right? And then they had to go and release this. If you put 4 together, you can make a Hogwarts crest. And it's not like I liked this when it first came out, because I didn't. It's not great, but man, it was better than the house crest, that's for sure. But there was potential here. There was potential. I saw potential here. I immediately hated all the static area. What is this? It's just the animal. There's no detail. What is this white and gray checker? Who did this? Who does this white and gray checker? What is up with that? Which designer is just like, you know what Hogwarts and Harry Potter people want? This dull checker. At least make it a chessboard or something. Come on. I just don't understand why they just didn't continue this really pretty motif. This like fleur-de-lis, light tapestry, floral, organic shape in the back. Very medieval, very, very castle tapestry vibes. I really like that. So I'm just like, you know what? I have a plan. I'm going to wait. And in a point of weakness, if I really want to, I'm going to get 4 of these and I'm going to see what I can do with this. Because I saw potential in this. They had such potential to make this a bit better. It was just something about it was off to me, and that's why I decided to make these following mods to it. Let's look at what I did. Helga, do you want to help film? Do you want to help film? Huh? So here it is. My pride, my joy, my modded Hogwarts crest. Now, I did 4 simple changes that I think really make a difference. 2 are minor and 2 are pretty major. Let's go over the major ones. As I'm sure you can immediately tell, I continued the top motif down here. I got rid of that stupid white and gray checker that those designers were obsessed with. No, look how much better this is. Look at how much better it looks. It's cohesive, it's complete. It's very tapestry. It makes a great backdrop, especially if you're hanging it on a white wall above mid-century modern staged furniture, you know, like all those Lego photo shoots. But I just think it complements the badger really well. I don't know. I think it made such a difference, and it was so easy. Does this look familiar? I didn't come up with that. It's just that. It's just this copied down here. You can literally take, if you flip this one 180 degrees, you get this. If you flip this one 180 degrees, you get that. Right down here. It's that simple. I think I pretty much wung this little piece and this piece down here. And you just go with it. Do whatever you want. But I'll take some close-up pictures if you all want to do this. I won't have instructions. But the best thing about the mosaics is that it's just a grid system. You can literally count, which is what made adding the Horcruxes to each house area so easy. Clearly, the number 2 major change, I added each house item, Horcrux, whatever, to each house area. House area? That's fine. We'll just go with it. I literally just looked at the designs from the instructions for the horrible house crests, and I just shrunk them down a little bit. Very easy. And I liked it engaged with the animals. I mean, the badger was pretty, since its arms and stuff were over here, I really couldn't do anything with the cup because the space, we needed more direction here. We needed more dynamic happening within the body because this was just a lot of black and shading. Same goes with the raven wing. This was they did great shading, but the diadem looks so much better here, doesn't it? I just think it really brings something, it adds a dynamic visual interest, and it's so much more Hogwarts. It's so much Harry Potter than just the animals with a lot of static space. It's very boring. I think the other one is very boring within each house area, just it being the animal. So anyway, I love doing that. I'll insert here a little time-lapse speed build of how I kind of came up with these. I free-handed these. Really what I did, I built each animal, and then without adding in the background, I went in and inserted each house item around the animal, so you didn't have to I didn't build the whole thing and go you know what, let's fit in a Horcrux here. No. I went in and I just built the animal so I would have to remove less studs overall. And it worked out really well. I think the hardest ones were definitely the Helga Hufflepuff cup and Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem. Those were the most difficult to fit and kind of figure out because sizing those down was not as straightforward as I just took the inside of Salazar's lock and free-handed the chain part, and the sword is literally a T. So that was pretty easy to accomplish. Finally, the 2 minor changes I made, and they were very slight. You may not even realize I did it, but 1, I took away 1 line of this dark gray on each side because because Gryffindor and Slytherin were so smushed. They had so little area compared to Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Look how much space these have, and then there was a whole other column, just dedicated to dark gray, which just led to less animal. So I took that out, I added in, I continued the lion, and I continued the snake, and I think it really kind of opened up the space, and it continues really well because that dark gray isn't down here. So I think it really made a nice continuation from top to bottom, and it just worked out really well. Did I do that right? Don't care. And then the fourth and last modification I made was adding in I took all these extra dark gray pieces and I added them in for another inside layer within the Hogwarts H, because I think it makes it stand out more. I didn't really like it just having a border of two. Something about the gold and the light gray and it being so close to the other houses, this just makes it stand out more, I think, and it gives more definition of that inside. Maybe even you could do it with black. I even thought about seeing what white in here instead of the gold would look like, but I just like the gold so much, and it's such a repeating color that I thought it was nice to keep the gold, to just keep it cohesive. But anyway, that's literally it. That's all I did. I think it turned out really nice, and I'll give some close-ups now of just kind of the whole thing. The texture really is nice, and it is pretty large. It's very heavy, and it's only on 2 hangers, so I'm very curious to see when I hang this how that turns out, but I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, that's my modded Hogwarts Crest, guys. I hope you like it as much as I do. What modifications have you made? I'm sorry if this convinces you to buy 4 mosaics. It hurts. But, it was a lot of fun figuring out how to make this better, because I just knew it had an unrealized potential that I think this really brings out on what Lego could have done, but also what Lego allowed us to do with all the extra studs. A word of warning. I used almost every single dark gray, dark silver stud. Almost every single one, down to the spares that were included in 4 mosaic sets. So just be very careful with those. I may have stolen them from a couple other places. I think I removed a line over here and a line over here. But those get scarce towards the end, and you're really scrounging just to make sure you can freehand some shading here, especially in the animals that require a lot more of the gray. Probably mostly the badger and the raven. Before we go, I'll talk a little bit about the aftermath. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine. Thank you for joining me for at least this part. But let's talk about how much stuff was left over. Look at this. This is where that extra cost comes in. There's just so much extra stuff. The backing black elements, the framing black elements, all these extra studs. There's just so much that you don't use. And that's where that sunk cost is, in that you're paying for the versatility that's lost in each of these. It's really cool to have so many backup pieces, but that's a lot of studs. It's like a lot of studs, but I know this is a favorite among resellers and bricklinkers because those studs, this is expensive. These are expensive parts, and I'm told it's a relatively good deal for the amount that you get in the Harry Potter art sets. Not so the same thing can be said with, I know, the Disney Mickey Minnie, but At least this one, the cost kind of makes sense to me. But above all else, if you take anything away from this, if you have this kind of money, is this worth it compared to Diagon Alley? Absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. You're crazy. Don't do that. If you can get it, if you can get one of these, get Diagon Alley. If you don't have room to display Diagon Alley and you are super into art and you want to mod and you want to do all these other things, feel free. Get the art sets. But it's a lot. Get them on sale. Get them on a double VIP weekend. For the love of God, do something. Because I can't say the number out loud. It hurts me. But get this instead. Diagon Alley is so much more worth it. If you have that kind of cash. Oh, that's it backwards. No, it's not. This is way more worth it. Now, in the name of Helga Hufflepuff. Oh, never mind. In the name of Hermione Jean Granger. Homework before Lego. Don't be a troll in the dungeon, and take care of yourselves out there. Bye.